Like many of you, I just did my Crucible run, and I found it to be a pretty fun time, just using a bunch of different champs for a bunch of different bosses. Obviously, all bosses I was relatively familiar with, since I did 100% Act 7, and it was just a pretty fun experience going through just so many bosses, and I could use so many different champs that I don't always get the chance to use. Such as, Mr. Negative even sometimes, even though he's rank 3. He's not like the most common attacker I use in War or BGs, but he was really fun for this Man-Thing fight, and a lot of this video is just going to be fun things that I did over this piece of content. I'm going to show you a collection of bosses that I decided to record, and then we're going to see the rewards opening at the very end, which you should definitely stay there to the end and see what I got if you are interested. And yeah, so this fight's pretty simple. You just kind of get to the SP2. I'm going to convert my energy, drop it, and then we do a stupid amount of degen damage, and then Man-Thing is just dead. So yeah, that's a really fun first fight if you ask me. I made a solo video of this as well, but obviously I was going to include it in the collaboration video. And next up we're fighting the Red Goblin boss with Mordo. And most of the bosses you're going to see in this video are from the second half of the quest, because I didn't really record everything in the first half for some reason. I just kind of went at it instead of trying to record fights I thought were cool, even though I probably should have, but it's no big deal. Mordo was just really fun for this boss because, he gets the soul barb up, and then all those furies just turn into massive damage for me because of the soul barb. Just like Kushala, its damage increases the more buffs you have on the opponent. That's just what soul barb does, and Mordo's is definitely very, very potent, even more potent than Kushala's, which might just be because his scales with his furies, and Kushala doesn't really have furies for it to scale, but still, at the same time, this is just going to be a really fun fight. Look, we're doing almost 39k per tick on that soul barb. Rank 4 Mordo, by the way. Rank 4 6-star. Absolute insanity. So, if you have a 7-star Mordo, I'd highly recommend trying him for that boss, because it is just such a fun time. So, next up we're going to fight Old Man Logan with Penny Parker, who is rank 3, by the way. I never really talked about Penny going to rank 3, which I'm going to make a video on that very soon, hopefully. I've been saying that for forever, that I'm going to make a video on it very soon. But yeah, I'll get to it, showing a bunch of cool Penny at rank 3 stuff, because I love Penny. She's just really fun to use, and she was good for this fight. She wasn't the best just because of the arrogance node, because her SP2 is 11 hits, so I don't ever get to do the final punch at the end, where I place a bunch of incinerates. So her damage is definitely lower in this fight, just because we don't have any of the incinerate debuffs, but it's all good. We still do plenty of damage, as you're going to see. And I drop another SP1 right there. Now we're at 19 of our Spider Sense charges. I'm going to continue to block a bit so I can get some power, go for an SP2, and then we're just going to let it rip, and then do a bunch of red numbers, again without Incinerate, just because the last hit's going to falter. But you see, we still do 27k every hit, and it's 9 of those hits, so that is almost 270,000 damage just in red there, which is pretty absurd. So we're just going to finish the fight off by going for another SP2, because I didn't actually consume any of my Spider Sense charges, because obviously we didn't use the last hit to be able to actually convert them. So even if he decided to counter the end of my SP2, since it whiffed, we would have a very high chance to auto block, so it wouldn't be too big a deal. And yeah, he auto blocks once again, and then one combo is just gonna finish him off, or 2 combos. So yeah, there we go. That's the Old Man Logan boss. And then, oh wow, he's still not dead. Never mind. But there, now he's about. No, he's not, because we have Lazarus. That's right. Okay, I forgot Lazarus was there. So we're actually just gonna go for one more SP2, and then that's gonna finish the job, which I'm just gonna catch his dash in right there, and then he's dead in just a moment. We're still not there. Oh my gosh, man, does this thing ever end? We had him with a relic. There we go. The fight's over. Okay. Anyway, next up we're gonna move on to the Stark Spidey boss, which I just decided to take with Venom, who is rank 2. I rank 2'd Venom relatively recently, and he's been pretty fun to use. And this boss is definitely no exception, because he's going to absolutely wipe the floor with the Stark Spidey. Yeah, so we start with an armor and a precision, which one really bad, one really good, so it's fine, I guess. And then we just start placing a bunch of bleeds, and again a cruelty there, which is also pretty nice. And yeah, this Stark Spidey is already melting pretty fast. Drop an SP1 there just cuz, and then we get a physical resist, which I'm going to try to reroll, and I'm gonna end up getting an armor, so it wasn't worth it, but it's okay. Here I accidentally got hit, but it's all good. He can't evade me because Venom does not let Spider-Verse champions evade when he has a Clintar buff. Not rolling any crits there really sucks, but there we finally roll a couple, and then yeah, we obviously want crits just because that's how we actually bleed, and the bleed is the Venom's main source of damage. So this fight is almost over. The bleeds are just ticking super hard, and then yeah, that's going to be the end of that fight. And then we move on to a gladiator fight against the Warlock. We're going to see it right there. Yeah, this Warlock with Ebb and Flow Heavy, Redlining, Specialist 2. Redlining is just helpful for us because Gladiator is immune to Power Drain, so we don't ever have to worry about taking damage there. And then the fight's taking forever to load. And then we want to be going for SP2s anyway, so Specialist 2 is just really helpful. I tried to dash back, but I didn't, and then I dashed in. It's all good. And then we ramp up more confidence, and now we're just hitting them a bunch, and we have 18 confidence. 25 is going to be my max, because I haven't won any previous fights to increase my max threshold. I have absolutely no clue why he threw a heavy or how I got hit by it, but that somehow happened. And then we go red, which is like, oh, alright, well, I didn't really want to go red, but whatever. Watch the SP3 animation anyway, because it's cool, and I don't ever get to see it often, so yeah, we throw that. It does a lot less damage because of the specialist node, but it's okay. And then we gonna go counter his special 1 there. Couldn't counter it, but it's okay. Gonna gain a few more confidence, and then I drop an SP2 into the protection because I'm dumb, but that's alright, because the next SP2 is going to do quite a bit of damage once I actually line it up with that Fury. So yeah, Redlining's gonna give me more power. I didn't want him to throw an SP1 there, but he did. Whatever. And then we go for a heavy attack. SP2, we have the Fury. These Incinerates are gonna hit a lot harder, and yeah, we're just hitting very hard. So we can't get rid of his armor up, meaning we can't actually crit on special attacks, which does mean we lose a bit of damage, but it's not too bad. So anyway, we're just going to try to get to another SP2, and then again just do a bunch of extra damage. Gonna go for a 5-hit combo ending in heavy, or not. I should have. I guess I wanted the beta special first or something, I don't know. Anyway, do a couple whiffed attacks because that's gonna just do extra damage, because of Gladiator's funny thing where he just throws attacks into the air and does damage. So yeah, we got a bunch of Incinerates ticking now, and at this point I ate a hit because of Bubble Shield, but that's alright. Gonna go for a heavy attack, and then wait out the timer node real quick, and then just drop the SP2 without unblockable. It's not a big deal. The Incinerates are gonna finish the job in just a moment, and then that's gonna be the Gladiator fight. So next up we are going to be taking the Elsa Bloodstone boss, and I'm gonna be doing this with Captain Britain. Obviously OG favorite of mine, using Captain Britain for a bunch of stuff, and this boss was no exception. It was a little difficult at times because of the evasive maneuvers, because it's not like most evasive maneuvers where they just evade, but because it's Elsa Bloodstone, she's going to evade and do a counterattack, so we actually just get punished really badly there if I let her evade. So we almost die in this fight, but we don't, so that's cool. Like here she has the evade, and I just need to play really passive at this point. I think one thing I could do to get rid of the evade is just whiff an attack that would hit her during her special. I'm pretty sure that would get rid of it, but I don't even bother. So here I'm just letting a bunch of debuffs trigger because they get purified, and then I get prowess and other buffs, and it's really fun. So, like, their exhaustion purifies into cruelty, slow purifies into unstoppable, and we just keep doing that. Then I'm going to go for a heavy attack, which is not good because that means she has the evade. So like there, she evaded me, and holy crap, my health is almost gone. So yeah, it's fine, because we just dropped an SP2, and then it does a massive amount of damage, and now I just need to go for another SP2 really quick after that. We have persistent pressure basically taken care of because, or not even basically, just taken care of because we have enough prowess to shut it off. You need 10 to completely remove it, and I have 14 at the moment. So I throw an SP1 into her block intentionally just to go into psionic mode without actually knocking her down. So that was on purpose, even though it doesn't really look like it. But yeah, I didn't want to knock her down so she would not get the evade. And there I did anyway, because I wanted a Fury. Didn't get the Fury anyway, but that's okay. Anyway, at this point, I'm just waiting out the evade, and now it's gone, so get her with a nice light intercept, and then the fight is going to be over in just a moment. She's going to purify that, we go unstoppable, going to go for a 1-3-hit combo, and then the fight is over, because just look at those crits, absolutely wiped the floor with her, so very happy with how that went. And then we move on to a fun arcade fight, actually. We're going to take arcade against this Sabertooth here, and this is a pretty fun time. Basically, with this node, let's see, I think you just want to have a bunch of debuffs, yeah, because of Azure Crone, or whatever it's called, and arcade definitely has that. And considering Sabertooth is not immune to anything, except he does have the bleed immunity from the node, we just have a really good time just placing a bunch of debuffs. The SP2 does a lot less damage because we can't bleed, but that's fine. It is what it is. So anyway, Sabertooth's going to throw his SP2 in a moment, and then I'm just going to dex it. And then we want to get him cornered, and I'm going to place my Toxic Cloud now, and then go for a 4th light attack to disable my SP3, and then drop the SP2, which places a bunch of those Incinerates, which aren't the most potent yet because we need a little bit more arcade tokens, but we're going to get those pretty soon. Going to go for a heavy attack, place another Toxic Cloud, and yeah, we're just rolling at this point. We have almost our max arcade tokens, and we just keep refreshing this cloud. Placing all those poisons definitely adds up in damage, and same with the Incinerates, with the Torments, just lasting longer and being more potent because of the max arcade tokens. So his healing is basically under control. He is completely heal blocked at this point because of Indomitable, which is, you know, whatever. And then, yeah, he's just locked in this corner at this point, which is perfect because that's where we want to put the cloud at all times, because that's going to be where it is the easiest to keep him. So yeah, it's just a cycle of throwing a bunch of SP2s, placing more Incinerates, and keeping him in the corner, which is, you know, pretty simple because he is inclined to throw a bunch of extra special attacks, so I don't need to spend a lot of time baiting them. Yeah, he throws one there, and then we're going to drop the SP2, which is going to push him back into the cloud, except it goes away, so not really. And then we just have a bunch of DOT ticking as usual, and then this Sabertooth is almost done. So yeah, it's definitely not like the fastest fight, but it's not really that slow either. Like, Arcade still does pretty decent damage, especially when he's fighting mutants. So he's going to die in just a couple seconds, and then we have a winner. That winner, of course, is Arcade. And there we go, that fight is over. Next up, we're going to fight Mojo with Mr. Negative, and another really fun fight with Negative, especially since I recently duped my Negative, so I'm going to have the regen while I'm degenning, which is going to be very helpful for the fight, just because the main gimmick of it is just you getting degened a lot, which most of it is covered by the no surrender node, but still, it's going to be nice to have. And I honestly sometimes just want to intentionally trigger his aura, just because I want to have those degens to place on him. Like here, I'm going to go for a heavy attack, and then he gets 4 degens on him, which is perfect. And there I forgot about Bubble Shield, but like just look at the degens ticking on him right now. It's actually kind of insane. So I'm gonna just keep placing those and then go for an SP2 of my own pretty soon. I don't know why I keep blocking his special one, because that's just adding Bubble Shield. Whatever. Anyway, we have our own degens ticking now, which are definitely gonna hit quite nicely. And I should, try to get his aura back so I can place more degens. But it's all good. He's going to switch his oscillate phase, so he's going to start getting passive now, which I don't think he actually runs in. No, he does run into it. So even the passive AI does better than that man thing from earlier in the video. I don't even get how AI works anymore, man. But whatever. We drop an SP2, and that's going to finish the job, so there we go. That is the Mojo boss. Next up, we move to the Killmonger boss, which I took with Emma Frost. I thought that was a pretty fun one. It's not like the perfect matchup out there, but it does go quite well, and largely just because Power Shield is super fun with mutants, obviously, because your damage just goes crazy, and then it's a really fun time. So anyway, we go into the fight here, and my goal is to get 5 prowess just by parrying her at first. And then we try to get as many prowess as possible before we drop an SP2. So yeah, we're just going to go for some parries at the start, and then I'm going to go for a couple parry heavies, which is going to reduce the amount of power he gets during diamond form a little bit, and then we're going to go for a combo of my own, just start building prowess. I want him to throw his specials, ideally, so that this doesn't happen, where I switch forms and go into diamond form and lose a bunch of prowess. But that's okay. We're going to ramp up a few more before dropping the SP2, and then it's going to do quite a bit of damage. I don't think I get any crits, though. Just really unlucky. Especially with Killmonger's crit resist, it's really frustrating when you don't get the crits, because it's not very common. But it's just like sometimes you have all that extra crit rate, and I'm just like, okay, it couldn't happen, really? Anyway. Considering the fact that Emma Frost's specials are non-contact, I literally can't take reverberation damage in this fight, just because, yeah, non-contact specials, and then I don't do damage on basic attacks, so, it just doesn't happen, which is cool. Got a nice crit on the end of that SP2, and yeah, at this point, I'm ramping up some more prowess, just from, diamond form parries. I just missed a parry there, but it's okay. Gonna go for a few more, and then I want Killmonger to throw his special attack after I get 5. Just to have as much crit rating when I switch to telepath form as possible. So like there, I'm in telepath form now. I want to be throwing some crits, and there I push him into his special 2, and then I just go into diamond form. So it's just like, oh, okay, whatever. And then I'm going to drop my SP2, which get 1 crit, and then don't get another crit. But he throws his SP3, and I'm in diamond form, meaning I don't die, because Emma's just so freaking tanky. And then we just drop an SP2 with no prowess, and then finishes the job. So, there we go. Pretty fun fight. Could have been better, but not that bad at all. And then last up, I'm just going to show the end of my Superior Kang boss, which I did solo this, by the way. I could, like, show the whole thing if I really wanted to, but it's, like, 9 fights. 9 minutes, not 9 fights. 9 minutes solo with Gore, so I'm just going to show the tail end of it. And then, yeah, Gore is just very good for this boss, because every time he counterattacks you, you gain a regen, so you just stay super sustainable. And then he also has a bunch of buffs and debuffs, which Kang does want you to have, so it ends up being a pretty good time overall. And yeah, we dex the heavy in the corner. I threw a relic because I can't actually counter the heavy because I did that already. So I need to go for an intercept or counter special, and then I get the intercept right there. So now it's just I need to counter special, go for 1 more slipstream charge, and then the fight is over. So, slow motion, I'm pretty good at the dexes because I've practiced this fight a lot. It's a really fun fight, and then I just somehow am slow on dashing in, so I don't get the counter. But then I can just parry right here, and then it's over. We just go in, and then the fight is over. Yeah, we just throw an SP3, get some shadow magic, start placing debuffs right after, and yeah, there we go. So, debuffs, 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 more debuffs, and yeah, I don't know what else to say. We're gonna get to rewards right after, and 2, 3, 4, fight is over. So, there we go. That is Superior Kang, and now we're just gonna finish the quest and get to rewards real quick. So overall, I really liked this quest. I thought it was very fun. I probably used about 15 revives during the entire thing. I don't remember which path I used more revives on. None of the bosses were like really problematic for me, except for the eye bomb and the ghost spider, which I just didn't plan very well for. So it's okay. Those bosses aren't the worst. I just didn't, plan very well for it. And then my crystals were, you see that man thing, and then the original one was Venom Pool, which I'm pretty happy with both of them. I don't think I'll rank either of them up, maybe man thing, but I'm not really too excited about any of the 6 of them personally, just for my BG's deck. I don't think they're going to do much, but maybe man thing will. And then I get Spider Punk from the Titan, which I like Punk, but I wouldn't rank him unduped. I think if I can dupe him ever, he's definitely going to rank 2. I just don't value him as much unduped as a lot of people do, but I do think he is a good champion if I can get that dupe. So if that's the case, then he will get ranked up eventually. And then we're just going to finish the video off with me picking up my Deathless Vision, which I haven't really gotten around to playtesting yet. I'm interested to see if he is any good. I haven't been a fan of either of the 2 other Deathless champs personally. I don't really like King Groot. I think Gilly is just okay. But we'll see. They are definitely interesting champions, so I'll see if I enjoy using Vision or if I just come around to the other 2. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.